5 ways to make sure that your home gets in front of the right buyers. And by doing this, you get more money, you get a better experience, and you get a sale that meets your terms. We do this with all of our clients, and we find that consistently, time and time again, it has been proven to where it ends up giving our clients each of those 3 points. Let me share. I'm called Krista, OIC Real Estate Services. We're here to help you see your real estate dreams come true. We serve the California Central Coast, Santa Barbara and San Luis counties primarily. However, we also work nationally, so if you need help relocating, we can do that as well. Using these 5 key tips, we have consistently gotten our clients better terms, more net money in their pocket, and a much better experience when they go to sell their home. And when we explain these, I think you're going to understand. So the truth of the matter is that there are 5 things that you can do that will help you. 1 is making certain that the home is profiled properly. 2, have an accurate description of what the property is. 3, have a good representation of what the property is. 4, have the property on as many websites as possible. And 5, make certain that the consumer's attention is grabbed and that we hang on to it. I'm going to share with you exactly how we do that, and you're going to see and feel and understand why it is that this is important for you and how it's going to get your service when you go to sell the home much better. First of all, when we profile the home, what we do is we take a look at who might be the perfect and most opportunistic buyer. By doing this, we will take into account all of the features and amenities that the home has. And then what we do is we actually will market, I call it a market match, to those specific types of people that will see value. After all, if you have a home that is a horse property, it's not going to go to somebody that wants to be on the waterfront. Or if you're in a position to where you have somebody that wants to live in town, you're not going to have somebody that's living in the country. These are just some of the few things that we pay attention to. And when we do it, what ends up happening is that by creating a match for the consumer and then targeting that specific consumer that will buy it, they see the value, they see the amenities, and they're willing to step up and say, hey, this works for me. We do it in a couple different ways. We pay attention to income, lifestyle, employment, family size, and other key points. And by doing this, what we do is we actually will create a specific type of a person that we market to, and then we tailor our marketing to that person. After all, we don't need to have 20 million people through the home. We only need one. You only have one house to sell, and we want to make certain that we sell it to the right person. And if we put the property in front of the person that's going to be that right person, then that goes into point number 2. Because what's going to happen is point number 2 is by using this process of the target marketing, we'll have an accurate description of the property. And what's going to happen then is people are going to see value to what's important to them. Making certain that we're actually reaching the right consumer and reaching the right buyer is going to give more value, which means more money in your pocket. Let me explain. There are times where people will say, okay, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's 1,200 square feet. And it had neighbors that sold for X dollars, okay? So what they're doing is they're taking the features, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, they're taking the square footage, price per square foot, and they're taking comps, which is what's sold in the neighborhood. Well, if those were the only 3 things that people gave value to, then you know what? That might work. But that's not how we get our clients more money. What we do is we actually say, okay, yes, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, but what is the type of person that's going to want this particular property? Yes, it has a price per square foot, but what amenities are giving more value to this home? So we end up getting more value for our clients. As a matter of fact, upwards to $55,000 on a recent transaction. The other thing too is that we also say, okay, the comp in the neighborhood we can't discount that. However, what we do is we bring empirical data in to make certain that we make sure that our clients and consumers consistently get more money. And when we say more money, it's not just more money for the sale of their home, it's more money in their pocket to do what's important to their family. We do this also by point number 3. We have an accurate and good description of the home. The reason is because if a home does not display properly or does not actually grab somebody's attention because of their interest or their values, they're not going to even look at it. As a matter of fact, the property that's featured on this postcard, that's what happened with this one. I actually took a picture of the property for my own marketing purposes for you to see this video. But the person that had it on the market before, they had it on the market for almost a year, and my clients didn't even want to go into it. As a matter of fact, it was like pulling teeth. They had looked at the property online multiple different times and just swiped past it. The reason is because the way it was photographed and the way it was represented, it was not done in an inviting manner. They thought the floors were orange and they thought the cabinets were green. So when I finally got them into the property, they were absolutely over the top at looking at all the features, looking at the quality, looking at the spaciousness, looking at all of the different things that hit their bucket list. And so by doing this, I was able to get them this amazing home, and they weren't even interested in looking at it. As a matter of fact, the home had been on the market for almost a year, and they even had one offer that was substantially lower than what my clients were willing to pay. And that's just because we finally got the right people in the house. But that was because of the fact that it wasn't represented to show exactly what the home had to offer. That's point number 3. However, that segues into point number 4. We want to have the property featured correctly. We want to make certain that we grab people's attention, but there is systems and formulas in place where, because of how people are viewing everything online nowadays, they are in a position to where they have limited capacity. Let me share a couple of examples. So some of the things that have happened that I found is people think that, I should say agents think, they have to have 61 pictures online in order to grab attention. I even had one person one time who actually had pictures sitting in the Chase Lounge with their feet out, taking a picture of their socks to show the backyard. I'm sorry, guys. Does that really sell a home? But the point I'm getting at, I'm sorry, I digress. The point I'm getting at is that 61 pictures on a property really customarily don't help, because if a person is going through the photos, some of the times, if they don't see what they're after, they'll just disengage. Or the other thing too is that they'll get to the kitchen sink and literally a picture of the kitchen sink, and they'll say, this isn't of interest to me. I want to get to the good stuff. Show me what's there. And again, they get bored. The other thing too is that oftentimes when you are working on a phone or a laptop, if you have a ton of pictures, it's not going to actually make it to where it loads very quickly. And so if it doesn't load, most people won't take the time. And finally, I just had one person one time that did drone photography on a property. And by doing so, the house was beautiful. But by looking at the neighborhood and all the other things that were around it, my client said, next. No, they're not interested. So we want to make certain and grab the attention and keep it. And we have a formula in place where we can do that by using only a certain number of pictures, but making certain we keep some of the mystery. We want them in. We want to make certain they're engaged, and we want to make sure we keep them. Then the other and final thing has to do with on as many websites as possible. The other thing is that, again, going back to the picture count, some websites won't feature all 61 pictures. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why it's so important that what is actually depicted is depicted up front first, because a lot of websites will stop after a certain number count of photographs. So we want to make certain that we give the correct, accurate information on as many websites as possible. Sometimes people will say, okay, it's going to be featured on Zillow or it's going to be featured on Realtor.com. However, what many people don't realize is that those two websites don't always grab every listing. And unless it's specifically on those websites, then sometimes people are going to miss it. We want to make certain that it's syndicated to as many websites as possible. After all, the house is like a trunk of a tree, and that's your property. You want it to be in as many websites in the branches and as many websites down in the roots. And by doing that, you're going to end up having as many consumers see it as possible. So those are your 5 key tips, and I hope that you found them helpful. Like us, follow us, and you know what? Call me. We put this together for our clients. We give you top dollar. We get you the most net money. You get an excellent experience by utilizing all 5 of these. Profiling the home, having an accurate description of the home, having a good representation of the home, getting people to grab their attention and hold on to it, and making certain that we have the proper amount of websites that the home is featured on. I hope you found it helpful. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. Let's see how we can do this for you. Have an amazingly blessed day. Bye.